right, let me stay in Tennessee just for right now. What the hell happened to the Vols? What happened here?
Oh, Dan, it's we talk about Dylan, your producer, is a Vol also. We talk about battered Vol syndrome, and when we talk about it, people are like, "Oh, stop thinking about like that. Stop being negative. Stop doing this." And I'll point to this day in mid-November and this performance in this game and say, this is why it's hard to get your hopes overly up about a Tennessee football team. Look, it doesn't take anything away from the fact that has been a great season for Tennessee football. Josh Heupel in year 2 has done amazing work. Hendon Hooker is going to be one of my all-time favorite Tennessee quarterbacks because he willingly came to a dumpster fire of a program, but when Jeremy Pruitt was fired, when Philip Fulmer was basically fired, under NCAA investigation. They were terrible on the field. They were 3-7 in 2020. And then they come out last year, they surprised with 7 wins in the regular season. And they blew everyone away this year, and they're really one of the more fun teams to watch in all of college football. That remains the case. But this Saturday night to me was what I expected in the preseason. Not a blowout loss to South Carolina, but a team that offensively is such a juggernaut and could score points with anyone, but defensively could be such a liability that you might beat Alabama and you might lose to Kentucky, or you might lose to Vanderbilt, or you might lose to South Carolina or Missouri. They've gotten through most of the obstacles this year so far outside of Georgia, obviously. But this was one where in the back of my mind, I'm watching and I'm thinking, oh, you know what? This was the defense and the team that I expected in 2022. This is the outlier performance that I was expecting. Dan, it was this is not hyperbole. This was the worst defensive performance I've seen in my 40 years watching Tennessee football relative to a bad offense. I've seen teams do more to Tennessee. I saw a great offense in Bryce Young and Alabama do whatever they want for the most part against Tennessee, and Tennessee won that game in the end. So I've seen it against great offenses. This was a struggling South Carolina offense that Tennessee's defense – look, Spencer Rattler, credit to him. He looked like the Heisman Trophy candidate from Oklahoma for one night. He was terrific. That was a career game. He was on fire. He couldn't miss. He was putting it on the money all night. Tennessee did nothing to affect that, though. They allowed him to do whatever he wanted. And for that reason, Tennessee's no longer in the playoff hunt, but they still have a lot to play for because it's a program that I was going through the notes last night. You know, they haven't won 11 games since 2001. They haven't won 10 games, I think, since 2007. So that's 15, 20 years of history, and they got a chance to erase some of that this season by at least getting to 10 against Vanderbilt this weekend and having a chance at an 11-win season in an Orange Bowl maybe against Clemson or in the Cotton Bowl. That's not so bad. If you told me that coming into the season, even with all the disappointment, I would take that opportunity. But man, oh man, Dan, they blew a golden chance to get to the college football playoff because now USC and TCU may win out and it may not have mattered. I think those teams would have jumped them had they won out and won their conferences. But that was an opportunity left out there that they just did not capitalize on.